This is a domestic report from Tobacco Late News. We're starting with a focus on politics. President Bola Tinubu has launched a new Nigerian First Policy Directive aimed at compelling federal government ministries, departments and agencies to prioritize locally made goods and services in all procurement in a bid to boost local production, create jobs and reduce dependence on foreign imports. The directive, soon to be formalized through an executive bill, was announced by the Minister of Information Mohammed Idris, who emphasized that any business that can be executed locally should not be outsourced abroad. Nigeria's import bill, which hit $55.4 billion in 2020 and $52.1 billion in 2021, has been cited as a drain on economy, enriching foreign nations while deepening domestic unemployment. However, public trust in policy's implementation remains low, with critics pointing on past failures such as Buhari Dormant Executive Order No. 5 and the current administration's lack of commitment to local content, evidenced by Tinubu's frequent foreign trips and preference for imported vehicles. Analysts argue that without reforms to address Nigeria's hostile business climate, high product costs and regulatory inefficiencies, the policy may flatter. Citizens have urged leaders to emulate Burkina Faso's country-first model and lead by example if the policy is to succeed. Still in politics, the Court of Appeal in Enugu on Thursday upheld the nullification of the controversial July 30, 2022 local government election in Ebonyi State, dismissing 3 appeals filed by the state government, the Central Bank of Nigeria, and local government chairman. Justice Joseph Ekanem, delivering the lead judgment, ruled that the earlier decision by the Federal High Court in Abakaliki, which voided the elections, remained valid and binding. The court cited incompetence in the appellant's briefs and ruled that although local government funds must be released from the Federation account, they cannot be spent by individuals who were not lawfully elected. Now in crime. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has revealed that the administration of President Olusegun Obasanjo decisively suppressed the initial emergence of Boko Haram in 2002 through strong political will and swift military action. Speaking during a meeting with stakeholders from Kogi East Senatorial District in Abuja, Atiku said the groups first surfaced in Yobe State during his tenure as Vice President. He recounted how President Obasanjo consulted with him and they summoned the service chiefs, issuing a firm ultimatum to eliminate the insurgents or face dismissal. According to Atiku, the threat was contained within weeks and did not resurface until after the administration left office in 2007. He criticized successive administrations for failing to demonstrate similar resolves, accusing them of gross irresponsibility in the face of raising insecurity. He attributed the worsening security crisis across Nigeria to leadership failure and a lack of political will. More on crimes. The ECOWAS Court of Justice has ordered the immediate release of Moses Abiodun, a Nigerian businessman who has been held in pretrial detention for nearly 16 years without formal charges or trial, ruling that his detention violated multiple international human rights laws. Arrested by SARS in November 2008 and remanded by Lagos Court in March 2009, Abiodun remained in custody without prosecution, a situation the court described as inhuman and degrading treatment. In its Thursday ruling, the court rejected Nigeria's objection and reaffirmed its jurisdiction, declaring that the prolonged detention breached Abiodun's right to liberty, fair trial and freedom of movement under the African Charter and the International Convent on Civil and Political Rights. The court also awarded him 20 million naira in compensation. Now moving to education. Parents of candidates affected by the technical error in the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination has called on Joint Admission and Matriculation Board to postpone the receipts scheduled for May 16th to 18, citing ongoing West African Senior School Certificate Examination papers, travel stress and psychological trauma for students. Over 379,000 candidates across 157 centers, mainly in Lagos and the southeast, were affected by the glitch, which JAMB attributed to a failed software update. JAMB Registrar Professor Isaac Oloyide admitted full responsibility and rescheduled the UTME, but parents say the short notice and overlap with WAEC is unfair and confusing. Some students must travel long distance to exam centers, while others are struggling to study for 2 different syllables. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the glitch, urging the establishment of CBT centers in all local governments to reduce future burdens. Now in economy, Nigeria's headline inflation rate eased to 23.71% in April 2025 from 24.23% in March, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, marking a notable decline from 33.69% recorded a year ago. However, despite the national drop and a sharp slowdown in the monthly inflation to 1.86%, the cost of living remains steep in many states, with 10 states and the FCT reporting inflation above 30%. Enugu led with 36%, while Benue's food inflation hit a staggering 51.8%. Stakeholders in the private sector say the marginal drop offers little relief as MSMEs continue to struggle with high input costs and weaker consumer demand. The World Bank projects average inflation to moderate to 21.1% in 2025, driven by tighter monetary policy, though experts warn that structural reforms in energy, transport, and food supply chains are needed for broader relief. That is the domestic news update for now on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us for more domestic updates and development. I am Blessing Basu.